Hello, welcome. My name is Mr. Arthur. I'm your financial algebra teacher for this year. Financial algebra is a very interesting class that has a lot of real-world practical value, and welcome. We're going to start today with information about starting a business. Many of you would like to start your own businesses. To start a business requires capital. Capital is the word we use that means money. So when we hear people talk about capital, they mean money. Now there's several different kinds of businesses. One would be known as a sole proprietorship. This is when there's just one owner of the business, usually a small business, maybe a barber shop, maybe a candy store, a bodega, something like that. You need capital to start a business. So sometimes if you're the only person, you don't have enough capital, so you need to take in partners, which is another level called partnership. You can have two or more people own the business, not always equally. Sometimes one partner owns more than the other. And then eventually the biggest type of business is a corporation, and they raise their capital by selling shares of stock. Now, you've seen on the assignment for the very first day, there are 6 questions. The first 3 we're going to go over together now, and then the next 3 I want you to do on your own. Okay? So the first question says, Michelle invests $15,000 in a partnership that has 4 partners. The total investment of all partners is $240,000. What percent of the business does Michelle own? Well, percent is really just another way to write a fraction. And so what we know right now, we know that Michelle owns a fraction of the business. And her fraction of the business is $15,000 out of the total of $240,000. That is the part that Michelle owns. So in order to make that into a percent, which is what we're trying to find, I get out my calculator, which is right here. I'm going to use my iPad for my calculator. See, my calculator. So we just take the 15,000 and an extra 0, and we divide that by 240,000, hit equal, and we get 0.0625. 0.0625. Now that is a decimal, and a decimal is just another way to write a fraction also. We have a fraction, we have a decimal, and the way we make that decimal into a percent is we move the decimal point over 2 spaces, and we get 6.25%. So Michelle owns 6.25% of the business. One thing you can do with these videos is you can stop them at any point if you have a question, re-watch it over again until you understand it, and then of course when we meet up during the day, you can always ask for further clarification if you need it. Now the second question says the total number of shares of stock in the Bulls Corporation is 650,000. Mike owns 12% of the shares. How many shares of Bulls Corporation stock does he own? So if you have a corporation, the owners of that corporation are called shareholders because they own shares of stock. And the number of shares of stock a company has can vary. It can sometimes be up in the millions and even billions. This particular example has 650,000. Mike owns 12%. So we want to know how many Mike owns. Well, 12% is the same thing as 0.12. Percents and decimals are just two ways to write the same number. Previously, we moved the decimal 2 to the right. Now we moved it 2 to the left to make it into a decimal. And to find out how much he has, we take that decimal and we multiply it by the number of shares of stock, which was 650,000. Now I'm using my iPad to do this, but you of course can use your phone. The only reason I'm not using my phone is because I'm using my phone to film this video. So let's bring up that calculator again. And I'm going to clear out my previous problem. And I'm going to say 0.12 times 650,000. And I get 78,000. Mike owns 78,000 shares of stock. $78,000 shares of stock. Our third question says, 3 partners are investing a total of $900,000 to open a garden and landscaping store. Their investments are in the ratio of 2 to 3 to 5. How much does each partner that has invested, how much does the partner that has invested the least contribute? Well, when a problem is written like that as a ratio, 2 to 3 to 5, it means one partner owns 2 parts, one partner owns 3 parts, and one partner owns 5 parts of the store. We need to know how much a part is. So we're going to let that be an X. So what we do, every time you see a problem like this with a ratio, simply put X's on the ratio. So 2 to 3 to 5 becomes 2X, 3X, and 5X. And the total is 900,000. Now you take those 3 parts and you add them and you will get the 900,000. So this is the equation. When we solve this for X, that will be how much a part is. So 2X plus 3X plus 5X, 2 plus 3 plus 5 is 10. So that is 10X equals 900,000. And then the way you solve for X is you divide by 10. And you can take your calculator, or if you learn how to divide by 10, it's just chopping off a 0. So we get 90,000. Each part is 90,000. Now that doesn't mean each partner has 90,000, because one partner was 2 parts, one partner was 3 parts, one partner was 5 parts. The question was, how much does the partner who owns the least have? Well, the least is going to be the 2X. The 2 parts is the least. So if each part is 90,000, you do 2 times the 90,000, and you get 180,000. So 180,000 is how much the partner who invested the least. If you were asked how much the partner who invested the most would be, you take that 90,000, you times it by the 5, because that would be the most. Okay, that was the explanation for the first 3 problems. You now do the next 3 on your own and submit that assignment. Thank you.